So Autopia has always had a philosophy of giving back to the community around it. We not only want to do the right thing, but it has to make sense in terms of the context of our business and the customers that we serve. That's why working with UN Women and in the gender diversity space just made so much sense.
I guess moving to Autopia, I was looking for a couple of different things. One, where I could actually add value to an organisation, where they had a hole in their organisation that maybe I could fill. But also an organisation that tried to do more than just make money. Autopia is one of those organisations in lots of different ways. We regard our goals as being to change the world. We see that as essential to us. We hold ourselves accountable to it, and we have failed if we don't.
One of the briefs that we were discussing when we first started the business was, what do we want this company to be? We were looking to build an organisation that we wanted to be a part of, even if we didn't have to work for money. You got to be working with good people, you got to be achieving things that you're proud of, and you got to be proud about the way that you achieve it.
What it has to do is with Autopia's values. We are all CEOs, we act with integrity, we think long term, we give back. And any of those values fit very well with the gender diversity initiatives that we have. And I think that's the interesting part. That is the most rewarding part. That is not a sales conversation. We do try to change the world.
I think in the space of gender diversity, we're often waiting for government. So we're saying, well, we'll wait till the government makes a decision. We'll wait till the government funds this. And actually, we've waited a really long time, and governments can only do so much. I actually think it's the moment for the private sector to lead the agenda. So we're seeing that from Autopia, we're seeing that from a number of other companies. But we essentially need every company to be thinking about how can we best support our employees, their families, our clients, their families, and really trying to start a transformational change in Australia.
So our gender journey started in 2009. We'd been really successful up until 2009, and we'd been selling into the HR profession for 5 years now. What had become really obvious to me is that HR is dominated by females, and we were a male organisation selling into this female space. So in expanding the team, it seemed like a logical business case that the next hire should be a woman. A woman would be able to better understand the diverse needs of our customer base.
We had goose egg, zero women, which is quite common in the motor industry, which is quite sad as well, because half of our clients are women. And the other half of the customers, there's generally a woman involved in the buying process or in the decision-making process. And so for so long, we were really missing something, and it was hard to attract women into this space. I think there's a bit of a stigma that surrounds the car industry. And while we sit on the fringe and in a really professional side of that industry, still was quite difficult.
We implemented a sales strategy where both a male and a female executive attended every sales call, and that delivered two really important outcomes for us. One is we were able to achieve much better client engagement, and secondly, it really enabled us to differentiate ourselves against the competition.
You can draw a correlation between the increased number of women in the team and the success of the team. Very easy to draw that line. What they bring to team think tanks, to developing different ways of presenting the information to clients. And again, when I say half of our clients are women, having their ideas through that, we've been able to generate new ways of presenting novated leasing, which is not always the sexiest topic, but in a way that anyone can understand. And we've seen an increased take-up rate on the back of that. And again, you can draw the line. More women in the consumer team, greater results. Simple as that.
There's now a significant weight of evidence that shows that diversity is good for business. The best examples are actually out of the global financial crisis in 2009, where there's actually significant data that shows that the companies that weathered the crash the best, so nobody did well, but the companies that did the best were the companies that had more diversity in their boards. And so part of that is about a different way of thinking, challenging risk, thinking differently, having plans in place, challenging the CEO. All of those things that diversity brings actually did have a significant impact.
One of the concerns which we have is that if everybody in the room has the same point of view, that's great because everybody agrees. But it also means you've got the same blind spots. And so it means that there are things which we would go into and not really understand. But I think that diversity, not just at a gender level, will help address that.
Autopia has done a lot of work with gender diversity and UN Women. We have written a number of white papers. We have boardroom lunches as well, roundtable lunches. And I've found those amazing because what it does is it brings Autopia family, our customers, together to have an informal discussion about the things that are playing out in their businesses as well, like gender diversity or domestic violence, for example.
So UN Women, we do intimate lunches with Julie McKay, the Executive Director of UN Women, comes and joins us, so I get heavily involved in that. But it's also about having up those follow-up conversations with these people that attend these events to hear their feedback of why does it matter to your business? What are you guys doing? How can we learn and share stories between these different people that are attending these events?
It's nice to work for a company that's not just about the product and what they're doing. It's about, okay, well, how else can we be out there affecting the world?
It's really interesting because a lot of people ask us about the relationship between a car leasing business and UN Women and how that formed. And I guess it isn't a natural fit, why we would approach a car leasing company. But for us, it's about what is the way in which that business operates. And so seeing that Autopia is completely committed to the green side of the business, seeing the way in which it talks about, as a priority on the website, straight up front, here are our commitments to the community. I think for us, those things are really important because they demonstrate that this is not a company that's going to throw a bit of money at a charity and hope that the problem of gender equality goes away. But I think the really exciting thing was as we got to know the team, Greg and Barry and Larissa, we actually started to see this really deep commitment to how can we support UN Women personally, how can we support the events and activities, and how can we identify opportunities where Autopia can support us.
So our business is flourishing. We've come from an organisation with no women to 40% female representation 5 years later. I think our customers have noticed. Our sales results have increased. Our customer satisfaction results have increased. I think we have better idea generation. I think we have stronger governance. I just think we're a better, more diverse, well-rounded business.